Greetings, Wernissage here. Welcome back to another in-between video where we tackle smaller challenges such as this. My Spartan 2 and 3 patrons suggested taking a look at the Mark 7 helmets from Halo Infinite and sort of having a tier list while also redesigning the ones I feel aren't as good as I wish they were. Now obviously this goes without saying, but this is objectively the correct tier list. No, I'm just kidding. This is my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. I might actually redesign something you think is already perfect, but just keep in mind this is just for fun. This is what I wished some of the helmets would look like. And yeah. Oh, you can probably tell I'm kind of sick, so if my voice sounds weird, which it usually does, but if it sounds even more weird, then you know why. So yeah, I just hope this disappears before Christmas. I don't know. This is just water. I don't know. I don't even drink coffee. It's a fucking Call of Duty mug too. Alright, so jumping into this, let's start with Anubis, which was a helmet I liked in Halo 5. And while I think it's fair to say they went a little too hard with the redesign in Halo Infinite, I just love this helmet. Since the visor, well, the entire helmet is just like tilted forward, you kind of get this aggressive visor look, which I just love. And it's a bit more chunky than the Halo 5 version too, I think. So yeah. I don't know, I love this helmet. Moving on to Aviator, which has always been a personal favorite of mine, even in Halo 4 and 5. I don't know, I'm just a big fan of the pilot vibe, like the shape of the visor and all that. I don't think it's S tier. I think it looks a little awkward, and it still has a little bit too much of this like animalistic feel going for it around the mouth. I do think I want to put it in A tier though, because I think it's one of those helmets that like stays true to itself. Like it doesn't have to be something else to be good looking. That being said, I kind of want to see if I can redesign it to look even better. But yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Alright, so that's probably what I do with the Aviator helmet. It's not much, but I kinda, you know, made the visor a little bit smaller, made it look a bit more aggressive, and I kinda cleaned up the entire mouth area, kind of simplifying and like making the mandible parts like more straight. It's very minor. I don't even know if it's better, but that's probably what I do to like improve it a little bit. But yeah, let me know what you think. Moving on to Brawler. It's an interesting one because like I think it draws a lot of inspiration from CQB. Like I love what it goes for. I think it's very unique, but I also think it's not very good looking. So it might have to go, I don't know, I wouldn't call it D tier though. It's not bad. It's just a bit wonky. Now to be clear, this is one of those helmets that like I appreciate it for what it is, but I just wouldn't wear it. But I'm gonna try and like redesign it to something that I would wear. Alright, so I didn't end up changing much because I kind of want to keep the original interesting idea they got going for it. I like it, but I just think it's a little bit too round, you know, a bit too wide. So I kind of slimmed it down a little, made it more, I don't know, not just like a really smooth curved line, but like more, you know, more aggressive and more angular. All those buzzwords that I always say, but I think it's a little bit better for me personally. But let me know what you think. Alright, so Cavallino. It's one of those like, I wouldn't wear it, but I think it's a really good helmet. Like it's the best parts of the Recruit helmet, but it's still missing a few parts of the Recruit helmet. If you haven't seen it, I actually redesigned the Recruit helmet in one of my redesigning Halo videos. Go check that out. Like again, a good helmet that's just not really interesting. Alright, so I think this is called Sealox in Infinite, but it's obviously the Scout helmet from Halo 4 and 5, specifically that variant. I like them in Halo 4 and 5. I love this helmet. This is just, I don't know, just chef's kiss. It's probably even better than Anubis. I just love how edgy the design is. Like it's so aggressive. Like everything is facing downward. It has this like snout look almost. Like I think the Infinite version has like a more round top part, which I just think works perfectly. So yeah, that's definitely one of the better designs in the game. Now, this is called Enigma, I think. It's again one of those designs that like I appreciate that it's there for like the variation, but it's a bit too wide for me. So I'd probably have to go C tier for that. I think it's a good design, and like with helmet attachments, I think it looks really good. But again, it's just not really for me, but let's see if we can do something with it. Alright, so I think that's finished, but I realize now I kind of turned it into the ODST helmet, which wasn't supposed to happen, but oh well. So while the original is a lot more wide and chunky, I kind of like made the visor take more up space here. Again, like more slim, and I made sure to give like the top a bit more angularity instead of just being round. But like I said, I kind of turned it into the ODST helmet, at least like the general shape of it. But yeah, I realize now why they made it a bit more thick, because, you know, then it kind of becomes its own helmet. So yeah, I just made it more generic and more ODST-like, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Alright, Firefall. This is actually the helmet I use in Halo Infinite's multiplayer, and I've used it for a while now. I don't know if it's better than Sealox, is it? Like, it's... Obviously I love it because it's the one I play with, but I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to place it there. They might be like equally good, Sealox and Firefall, but I don't know. Just like in the moment, I feel like Firefall is just like, I don't know. It's just perfect. Like, I don't know if it's my favorite ODST helmet, but I just love how it's like a more Spartanized version of the ODST helmet, which fits the Spartan look a lot better than the original ODST. Now, the ISR. This is yet another helmet, like, I like it, but it's not really my jam. If I were to design this helmet, I'd probably make some of the pieces of it a lot more prominent and like just give it more personality, because right now I kind of know it as the helmet that has like a small visor and it just looks kind of small, so that's like, I don't know, it's a good design, it's just not up here, you know. I'm probably gonna place it B tier because I really do like it, but I think something could be done to make it a bit more interesting. Alright, so to be clear, I'm not entirely happy with this one, but I think I like it a little bit better than the original. So to improve the general shape, I kind of made the top part a little bit thinner while the bottom part was extended a bit on the sides. And I also wanted to do something with the sides here, which I thought was a bit too clean. So I just added some kind of detail. And finally, I thought the mandible looking things down here were a little bit weird. So I kind of did this, but I'm not sure if that's better. So yeah, take this with a huge grain of salt. I'm not entirely happy with it, but that's kind of what I do. Something like that. Oh, and by the way, maybe I want to like add something here to spice up the visor a little bit. I don't know. I don't even know. Alright, so Line Breaker, if I'm not mistaken. And it's essentially the Enforcer helmet from Halo 4 and 5. But obviously redesigned to fit Halo Infinite's art style a little bit better. But while the Aviator kind of gets to keep its, you know, more organic look, Line Breaker was really like blockified, because it's very like straight. There aren't many angles, which kind of leaves it with this, you know, very blocky design, which I don't think looks bad, not at all. You know, it just ends up looking a little bit boring, but it's definitely B tier. Alright, so that's basically what I do. Like, I keep basically all the details of the original, but I just kind of, you know, get more of this look of the Halo 5 version. Just a bit more excitement. Like the visor actually goes down, and the shapes on the sides aren't like way too straight. That's probably what I do with it. Let me know what you think. Now, it's time for the Mark 7, which is S tier. Like, it's the best helmet in Halo's history, probably, since the Mark 6. It's weird because, like, it's actually the helmet I think of now when I think of Spartan helmets from Halo, which is weird, seeing as I've played Halo all my life, basically. But I just think that kind of tells you, like, how good of a design it is. Like, yeah, it's very traditional, but it's very unique while still looking very much like Halo. Like, I think if you'd show this to someone who doesn't know anything about Halo, they probably know it's from Halo, you know? It's that, like, recognizable. So yeah, it's definitely S tier, best helmet in the game. Now, the Mark 5 Zeta, I think. This has kind of become like a fan favorite in the Halo community, I think, from what I've seen. And I think it's a good design, I really like it, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't really like it. It's just something about it. It's just like, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm expecting something of Mark 5 and then I get this, which is pretty different. I just think it has a lot of elements that don't really blend together well. I might be in the minority there, I think I am, but I'm gonna like see if I can explain what I think. Alright, so apparently I can't see this helmet in my customization menu in Halo Infinite, since I don't have it unlocked, so this image will have to do. Now, what I don't like about it is, well, it's a few reasons. So, first off, I don't really like the visor, because it's like the Mark 6 mod visor, which I really do like that armor, but just something about adding these extra lines, like down here and like up here. I just think it's a bit too much for a simple design like this, because taking a look at the lower part of the helmet, it's like obviously a Mark 5 helmet. It's very round, it's very smooth, it's simple. And this part I do like. Then you have the top part of the helmet, and that kind of follows more of the look of the visor, because that's almost like the Mark 5 Delta helmet, I think. I could be wrong about that, but I think it's kind of similar. So you kind of get these like weird blends of two different art styles. It's a bit too detailed down here. It's a bit too organic up here, and it's, you know, it's very simple and classic Spartan down here. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but let's see. Alright, so that's more or less what I do. Again, I'm probably gonna piss off a lot of people, but I just like simplify the visor a whole lot, like removing these teardrops here and just removing the lines down there. And then I just like, I don't know, made the top a bit more smooth than what it was, and just generally made the visor a little bit bigger, so it wasn't as slim as the original was. Yeah, that's basically it. Now, maybe it's a bit boring, I don't know. I think it's more of a Mark 5 design now. But yeah, let me know what you think. Alright, so I had to look up the name for this one. So apparently it's Rampart. It's a good design, I like it. Like, it's interesting, it's unique, but it's kind of EOD, but it kind of isn't. So I know a lot of people have problems with this helmet. I think it's a good design, but I think it's B tier. And I kind of want to explain like what I do with it. There's like two main issues I have with this helmet. It's like, one, the visor is very wide, like it goes around pretty much the entire front of the helmet, and then the top is like integrated with the visor, which is definitely interesting. I like how they just like went for it, and I appreciate that. And you know, we can just like remove that with an attachment above it. But I don't know, I think it's kind of weird as a base helmet, seeing as the visor is like connected to the top, but it's not like EVA when it's like the entire helmet. So it's just somewhere in between, and I think that's a bit wonky. So I want to see what I can do with it. Alright, so I couldn't get the like general shape very good, but that's probably what I would do. Now again, it just changes it a bit too much, I think. It's like the entire idea is that it's very simple and you can add like attachments to it. But like as a base helmet, I think something like this would make it a lot more interesting as a variation for the EOD helmet. Because like it still has a bigger visor than EOD, but it's just a bit more faithful to its inspiration. But I don't know. I'm not sure about this one. Let me know what you think. Soldier is definitely an interesting design from Halo 4 and 5. But I was never like too big of a fan of it because it was like always very slim and small. But in Halo Infinite, it got a much more like heavy redesign. So it's a lot more chunky and, you know, aggressive, and the visor is still very slim. Yeah, I don't know, it's a great helmet. It's probably A tier. It's not S tier. It's probably A tier because like it's a good helmet. It's not something I would wear. Like the only real issue I have with it is probably its mouth, which a lot of people have an issue with. It's like in some concept art we actually saw it like with a mouthpiece like on top of that, so you didn't see the round mouth part, which I thought looked a lot better. So I don't know what happened there, but it's unique, that's for sure. So the change I'd make here, I can just do it in real time, honestly. Alright, so I underestimated that because it took a lot more time than I thought it would. But this is probably what I do. Like now that I think about it, I kind of understand not having something there because like, you know, it's something, it's excitement, you know, in the design. Something different is going on here, which is interesting. So, I mean, this is more safe, but I also feel like it looks not as silly, you know? Like this one is a bit silly, even though it looks good. It kind of reminds me of like a Bionicle face. But yeah, this looks more like it's, you know, protected, and like it has some armor plating, which I like. You know, like protected, as a soldier would be. So yeah, let me know what you think of this one. Nearing the end, we have Stormfall, which is obviously the Gungnir redesign, but without its attachment, it's definitely D tier. Like, I don't really understand how someone would use this like without the attachment, which, you know, that's fine, and it's okay if you like it. I'm just saying, like, I don't really see the appeal of this because like it has like two separate eyes, but they're like really far up. So without its attachment, I don't know, I just don't really like the helmet as a base. I haven't really decided on like what I want to do with it yet, but I think I just want to kind of remove this because like the eyes aren't, you know, essential for the Gungnir version of this helmet, so why even have them in the first place? So I'm probably gonna remove them and replace them with like a proper visor. Alright, so this is very like bare bones. It's not finished at all, but you kind of get the idea. Like, it doesn't have to look like this just to be like a base helmet for a Gungnir. So I just, you know, make it more classic. This is a bit boring, I will say. You could do something else with it, but just like, I don't know, I'd love to see like a proper visor for this helmet, because I think it's an interesting helmet. Alright, so like another redesign that's very different from its source material, Trailblazer, which is obviously like a recon variant. I don't really like this design at all. It's probably gonna have to go D tier. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because like I wanted to live up to the standards of recon, especially Halo 3 recon. So maybe I'm just disappointed in that way. But I have a few problems with it. So I think my main problem with the helmet is that, you know, it's obviously the recon helmet, but it's just been altered like in a weird way. Like the cheek pieces here are like very, very prominent. And I also think the like the general shape of it is just very straight. Like recon to me, like especially Halo 3 recon, has this very unique shape that like no other helmet has. And I think that's just kind of been ignored here, which I kind of want to, you know, re-implement to the design. Alright, so apparently this is all I had to do. I just liquefied it and just made it, you know, I guess more like the traditional recon. But I just wanted a more unique shape. And also I just like kind of squeezed it all together a bit more. I just think it's a bit too like, it just sticks out everywhere. I just kind of want it to be more compact and more held together, if that makes any sense. And like the visor is a bit more thin, a bit more aggressive. But yeah, let me know what you think. Aerosol, I think it's called Volant, and this is definitely one of those helmets that's like very good. It's just not really my cup of tea. It's a bit too tall for me, but I kind of appreciate it anyway. So I don't know, I'd probably put it A tier, because I think it's a really good design. I think the main problem with it in Halo Infinite is that it's like, so I'm just gonna show you, like, again, it's very tall, but it's also like placed pretty high up on the head. So I don't know, you just kind of look like a giraffe when you have this one equipped. So just like changing the placement of the helmet just makes it a lot better for me. Like, I love the helmet, it's just a bit too tall for it to be that high up on the head. But maybe that's just a personal gripe, but that's something I've always noticed. Nearing the end, we have Warmaster, which is an interesting one, because like in Halo 4 and 5, it was, I don't know, I never liked it because of the visor, because it was just like too organic for me. Like around the visor, it was just a bit too complicated for me. But in Halo Infinite, I'm happy to say this is a perfect redesign. I love this helmet, because it still has this like skull look to the visor, but it's a lot more like believable, I guess, for like something you'd wear to a battle. Because it's, I don't know, it doesn't just go for style, it actually looks a bit more practical. And, you know, it kind of has this same energy as the Sealox or the Scout, with the very aggressive front part. So yeah, I don't know, it's just a win in my book. Kind of like Sealox, but like a skull. And finally, I think this is called Svesta. I never really used this helmet. I've always been a huge EVA fan, and like all its variants. Because like it's one of those helmets that doesn't try to fit the mold. Like it goes its own way with its more round parts, which goes really well with the round visor, obviously. So yeah, I don't think I'd wear this helmet, but it's definitely A tier for me. It's everything we love about EVA, but just a bit more like round, which I can appreciate. And there it is. That's the objectively correct tier list. No, but really, that's just like what I think. I probably pissed off a lot of people with Mark V Zeta, and probably Trailblazer too, now that I think about it. I think a lot of people like that helmet. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear. I love Halo Infinite's helmets. Like, despite all its issues, Halo Infinite, it's still a great game with great designs. Like, I couldn't be happier with these designs. Well, I could be happier, obviously, because I just redesigned some of them. No, but I just love the aesthetics of this game. I'm pretty sure it's like my favorite Spartan look of all the Halo games. I think it takes a lot of like what Halo 3 did and implements some of Reach's more like gritty art style. Like, yeah, sometimes I think it's a bit too much with like Line Breaker. Maybe like goes a bit too nuts with its redesigns like Trailblazer. But overall, I think it's just, I don't know, great designs. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about my redesigns of the helmets I didn't like as much. Let me know if you think I improved it or just like made it worse, or like what you would want to see from some helmets, like maybe even some helmets up here. Oh, and happy holidays. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm not sure where it's gonna be right now because I'm recording this in the beginning of December. But yeah, it's gonna be out sometime in January. So I'll look forward to that. So roll the outro. I want to thank my Spartan 2s. That one guy, D Marshmallow, Diehard Cold 3, Ripcorded, Itsuyona Carento, Azores, Desu, Code and Wash, Captain Waffles, and Loud and Donny. My Spartan 3s, Frogtrotch, The Lenster 2.0, and Jordan Downey. And my Spartan 4s, Liam Fitzpatrick, and Jacob P117. If you like this video, give it a like. If not, a dislike. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I wish you all the best this holiday, and take care. Wernissage, out.